And it might actually turn out to be the case. And I'll go into detail about why they think that might be the case. Although it's common, in my opinion, it's almost a given that you will be approved for a spot XRP investment. There will likely be several this year. In fact, technically, it could be any day. However, the next deadline for multiple XRP ETFs is actually around halfway through October. We'll give you the precise dates a little later in the video, but it's coming. It will undoubtedly happen. The SEC is, in my opinion, merely sort of organizing themselves and making sure that they have, in fact, had some work to do here, ensuring that they have a regulatory framework in place that they can apply consistently to each and every application. And I believe that's why there have been delays in this. Before they will authorize all of these items, they want to make sure everything is in order. However, they have made it quite apparent. The crypto war is over. These are items that the market deserves. Therefore, it makes perfect sense. However, I also want to make clear why this is important. Additionally, we might be pouring gasoline to the fire if this is authorized during the XRP bull run. However, I don't believe most people are aware of this, which will have a significant impact on the bullish price action of XRP. There might be some in the near future, but as I often say, I'm mainly interested in what this will mean for XRP's price over the next few years or even decades. It's comparable to how much money will flow. It will simply be utterly ridiculous. The exact number is unknown at this time. However, there is a lot of room for price mobility here because of how early in the adoption of crypto we are. Therefore, even if XRP is only about $3 in 2025, you are still buying it for less than practically every human being alive. Can you envision 10 years from now? 10 years from now, tell someone that you were able to purchase XRP for $3. Oh my God, I wish I had that opportunity, they will say. You must be wealthy. It's that kind of thing. The same is true for those who purchased XRP years ago for $1,000 or less. It is of the same kind. At the time, it didn't seem inexpensive. Oh my God, $1,000 worth of Bitcoin or XRP. Bitcoin for $1,000, oh my God. At the time, it didn't sound inexpensive, but when it came to $124,000, $1,000 seemed reasonable. However, before continuing, I would like to clarify that I do not own a financial. There are currently over 90 exchange-traded fund ETF applications on the USSEC's table, according to the most recent data from Coinbase Institutional Research. Additionally, hundreds of crypto-related ETP launches are anticipated over the next 12 to 18 months, which may include one of the XRP ETF pitches, according to James Seifert, a senior ETF analyst at Bloomberg. Since that is what happened to Bitcoin, I believe you will receive a lot of evidence, even if it isn't all on the same day, as I stated at the beginning of the video. They all do whatever. I can't recall the exact number. Whatever it was 10, 11, 12. All of the Bitcoin ETFs were approved on the same day. Well, that might occur here. That's not necessarily what I'm depending on. Well, however, I do believe that eventually many of these things, if not all of them, will be authorized. In any event, Coinbase reports that several applicants for XRP ETFs have just updated their SEC files, which is a clear indication of future approval. There you have it. They are not joking when they say that. Okay, so this is some conjecture, but in my opinion, it's sound and rational conjecture. What would cause the fact that there are updated applications? That most likely indicates that the SEC and any company submitting an application for an XRP ETF are having some kind of sincere discussion. That is the reason they would file an addendum to their application. Because of this, people are thinking, oh, okay, we're actually making progress here with these spot XRP ETFs. Thus, supposition to be sure, but in my opinion, quite logical guesswork. Well, which XRP ETFs have made the most progress? Grayscale's January 13th, 2025, XRP ETF application has a significant advantage, according to some analysts. While Grayscale's impeccable record with the well-established Bitcoin and Ether ETF highlights appropriate qualities for an XRP-based spot ETF, a decision must be made before October 18th, 2025. They continue by mentioning a few more here. 21 shares in Bitwise is in compliance with this year's October 19th and October 20th deadlines. That will therefore also come up. Grayscale is therefore a possibility It's possible that Grayscale will get the first move for an edge, even if it just helps them for a single day, if they are prepared to sanction it, which I'm not convinced they will. We'll see how fast they launch it once. It's acceptance. It's most likely quick. Here, I would be my guess. Additionally, I'll just bring this up. The Grayscale XRP Trust's NAV increases by more than 400% in a year, but you don't really need to read the article. And I was aware of what this would result in. Last year, I discussed this. An XRP trust was established by Grayscale. In actuality, though, it wasn't their first XRP trust. Unfortunately, they liquidated the darn thing following the SEC case, even though they had one going back around 5 years ago. It's unfortunate because the trust is backed by real XRP and is genuinely run by the trust, requiring accredited investors. Therefore, it did cause more XRP to flood the market at a time when there is already a great deal of uncertainty. Not that it was really significant, but it's an additional factor. It's bad overall, including for the price of XRP. However, I said, look, they're coming back. In the end, they plan to relaunch their trust after the litigation concludes, and that will serve as a prelude to the introduction of a spot XRP ETF. That will be something they want to convert, and I recall stating it at the time, and it turned out to be true in this instance. As you can see, they stated that today, September 5th, is the first anniversary of the Grayscale XRP Trust. That's right, exactly what I said would happen did happen around the end of January this year. This is the headline from Coindesk at the time. Grayscale submits a proposal to the SEC to turn XRP Trust into an exchange-traded fund, ETF. And people, this is a huge issue.